We are back now with Doreen Siapa and Kim Manlove, who both lost their teens to drug use, but have very different opinions on whether at-home drug testing kits are the answer to preventing such tragedies. Let me turn to you first, Doreen. You lost your 18-year-old daughter on a heroin overdose. You say, had I been able to have the home kit, I might have been able to save my daughter's life.
Yes, exactly. I'm not saying that a home drug test is the only thing that would have saved her life, but you know, taking the signs that we were seeing into account and then using the test, if we would have basically surprised her with a home drug test, I believe we would have found out that she was taking heroin. It would have come up positive opiates, and at that point, you know, we had some signs, but she always had an excuse for it.
Right.
But if
like she was nodding off and she said she stayed up all night, and so
studying,
you believed that.
She was an overachiever. She had 113 GPA, so when, you know, when your daughter nods off at the table and tells you she was up studying, you believe her.
Which is the other scary part of this. She was a good student, never suspected she would be using drugs.
No.
Kim, let me turn to you. You lost your 16-year-old son. You actually are against these home drug tests, and you bring up a very valid point, because you say once you start testing for maybe alcohol or marijuana, that kids just turn to something else that you can't test for.
Yes, I think in our particular case, when David was 15, we discovered that he had a serious problem with alcohol and marijuana. And so we took him to a treatment center, and they recommended treatment. But initially, we decided we would try and handle it on our own with closer monitoring of his behaviors and home drug testing. And we did that for about 6 months, but he switched from alcohol and marijuana to prescription drugs to LSD, and in the end, we had to go back to the treatment center because we couldn't handle it on our own. And that delay of 6 months really, in the end, worked against us. And I think if we'd have gotten him into treatment sooner instead of doing the home drug testing, we could have prevented the tragic outcome of his death just 11 months later.
What's so amazing about your thoughts, Kim, is that, see, you were the proactive parent. I mean, you
Yes.
took it in your own hands to test your child. And by most accounts, people would think that that would be the right thing to do, but you're saying no.
Well, you know, the home drug tests are easy to beat, easy to cheat on. Just last night, I searched on the internet to see how many sites you could go to find about how to do home drug testing, and there were 47,000. But then I did a search on how to cheat or how to pass home drug tests, and there were 4 million sites. So for every one site that teaches you how to give the test, there were 100 that taught him how to cheat them. You know, and in the end...
Right, right. And that doesn't surprise me, because kids are armed with so much information now, especially with the internet.
Absolutely.
Let me bring it back to you, because I think, see, you never had the chance to test your child.
Actually,
so that's why you probably feel like if you at least had a kit, it might have helped some.
Exactly. And the thing with these sites that are telling you how to avoid being caught with these home drug tests, if your child has no idea that you're going to do it, I'm not talking so much about monitoring, seeing a problem, and giving regular home drug tests. I'm a proponent of giving the random test, telling your kid, you know what, I love you, and someday I'm going to pop a test on you, and you're never going to know when it's going to come, and there's no preparation. All these ways of avoiding it, they cost a lot of money, and these teens, especially if your child is getting hooked on drugs, they don't have that money to blow every night when they get high. They cannot, you know, drink down a bottle of, there's certain solutions that, you know, flood out the drugs from your urine. They can't afford to do that every night. So if they have no idea when they're going to get drug tested, if you grab them and say, we're going to drug test you now, if your teen refuses, that tells you right there's a problem.
Well, a very complicated situation. I can't imagine the pain that both of you parents have gone through, and we appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us today. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Well, free at last.